Hey YouTube. So, I got more questions. I have another question. I've been also hearing a lot on the YouTube grapevine about a lot of new revelations that people are discovering of the Old Testament of the Christian Bible as to tribal names. And I'm curious as to what a lot of people are now going to do with that information. When Roots first came out, I had actually missed. I heard people talking about it, and I had seen, but I had picked up little bits and pieces, I think by the second or third night, and had mentioned something about Toby, and a young sister looked at me and said, "No, Kunta Kinte," and was very pissed off, and rightly pissed off. I saw after I'd seen the show, and I was wondering now that the Israelite brothers, after reading the Bible and reconsidering this and that, have decided that they are the true Indians. What we know now as Indians is another tribe. What does that mean? What are you going to do with that information? Are you going to venture out into the res and tell say the American Indian movement that according to your prophet, your religious beliefs, they have a totally different name, and now they are a new name, given a new tribe, the oppressed becoming the oppressors. I know that's a big issue, one of my issues as far as the Israeli people allowing their government to do what they are doing to Palestine. And in that same vein of thinking, knowledge is power, yes. Sometimes knowledge can be a little knowledge can be a little dangerous. There's also, I've noticed, a school of thought about Africans also being the first indigenous people on the continent of South America because of the Olmec heads. Just those amazing heads, wow. And I'm also wondering, so what does this mean? What's going to be done with this information? And those were found in South America. I just recently saw a PBS show on some new bones that have been found that are obviously Native American, Indian, and they can tell from the skulls what kind of people specifically, and the skulls are not African skulls, and that's here. These skulls were found here on in North America on what's called by the indigenous people Turtle Island. And I know even at one time in Kennewick, Washington, a white skull had been found. Whites were also saying that they were the indigenous people of North America. It's very interesting. Once again, so knowledge is powerful. A little knowledge can be a little crazy making. What are we going to do with this knowledge? And also, is there any possibility, I mean, these new skulls and feces, human feces that were found, predate the Bering Strait. They are now the oldest bones, human bones, that have been found in North America. They now predate all of the human bones found in North America. They were here when the glaciers were here, and that's way before they have said that people came over the Bering Strait from Asia here, and these new bones predate those. I'm just curious, again, knowledge is powerful, but it's what we do with the knowledge. Are we going to now approach the Native community and say, you know, it sounds like we have all been here before, and we've worked together. I mean, who's to say that both African and Indian peoples weren't on these continents way back? Of course, we all know that all human life comes from Africa. Africa is the motherland. That there is that gene of that human gene started, that seed started there. Um, but also, we can see this information, the Olmec heads, as many different things, many different meanings. Well, everyone came, all human beings came from Africa. There's no proof that when people traveled out and settled into other parts of the world, they were still African. I mean, that's it. It took so long, that process took so long, that people adapted in the areas that they were at. And who is to say they didn't travel to South America and find we had so much in common with the indigenous people there, and they also found, you know, that we traded with each other, learned a lot about each other, and left marks of being there. It doesn't, we could have been there, we could have come as visitors, we could have come at a totally different time while there were Indios in other parts of South America. There are all kinds of explanations for this. Once again, it's what we do with this information. Knowledge is powerful, but what are we doing with this knowledge that we were in South America back then, eons ago? What are we doing with it? Up to us. And I'd like to hear from the Black Israelites and the people who are very proud of the Olmec heads, as I am also. I'd like to hear your feedback on, okay, what are you going to do with this now? How are you going to use it? Are you using it to uplift people? Or are you using it to divide and conquer? Peace out. Thanks.